well, when you have this realization that you're not separate, that's one thing that can be helpful in relationships. In relationships, intimate relationships, the difficulty is the unconscious things sort of stored in the memory that come out in the intimate relationships bring those out. And so we may find that with like our significant other or our parents or just people that we're close to in an intimate way, they seem to trigger those things. We may find that in those relationships we are less tolerant, more irritable, more defensive, feeling threatened. I just think this is things that I and a lot of people experience. I would say maybe majority in some form or another. I think one of the things with consciousness is like infinite potential. So it's this uncreated that can be created. And then there's this thing of memory. So we can manifest somehow, like this program, as they call it, is not more real than a different program that we could sort of put in place. Like if we were to cultivate in love, the intention to love and towards the family member, if we start off with that, then we have the potential to create something different. And then what can happen is those experiences can kind of somehow be stored in the memory, and we'll go back to that, which makes sense, because I think in terms of the ego, the survival part, which is part of it, it looks for what works, what brings satisfaction, what helps it to feel safe. So if something's working, although it may take some practice in the beginning and cultivating the intention, I think it can work. So this thing of love, and what is that? What is love anyway? Attention with tenderness, and even if not tenderness, with being neutral. Being with something fully, not to assume that we know, but holding something with attention and reverence. That's what I think. It feels like that, kind of like the guy who planted trees. If we can give attention to those people in a relationship, listening newly and freshly, I think that's what love sort of looks like to me, because that seems like what I want. When friends of mine, they call it holding space, and there is this feeling of non-judgment, then it feels great. It's really feels like love. So anyway, that's a few ideas that maybe we could have a conversation about